Hey guys, first I would like to introduce myself. I am Akshit Shah and I'm a recovering awkward person. You're here for a reason. It's to know the history and rules of chess, and I'm here to help you with that problem. As you all know, that chess is a game that was invented in the past. It dates to AD 760. Chess originated from the Gupta Empire of India. However, many people firmly believe that chess was played by the ancient Egyptians, but the game we think of as chess and what the Egyptians used to play are completely different. Chess challenges your brain to exercise logic, develop pattern recognition, make visual and analytical decisions, and test your memory. Chess can be enjoyed by people of all ages, and as a result, these brain exercises can be part of your brain's health for the rest of your lives. Now, let's talk about what is chess. Chess is a two-player game in which each player moves 16 pieces across a checkerboard according to predetermined rules in an attempt to trap the opponent's king. There are six different types of chess pieces. Each side starts with 16 pieces: 8 pawns, 2 bishops, 2 knights, 2 rooks, 1 queen, and 1 king. The king can move in any direction but only one space at a time, while the queen can move in any direction for how many ever spaces it can move. Then comes the rooks. They can move only in straight lines and for unlimited spaces. Now comes the knight. It is the only piece that can hop or jump over another piece, and every time it moves, it alternates from a light square to a dark square, or vice versa. The bishop must always stay on the same color it was at the start of the game. The pawn is the least powerful piece. A pawn moves forward one square unless it's that pawn's first move. If it's the pawn's first move, then it can move one or two squares. The king can move in any direction but only one space at a time, while the queen can move in any direction for how many ever spaces it can move. Then comes the rooks. They can only move in straight lines and for unlimited spaces. Now comes the knight. It is the only piece that can hop or jump over another piece, and every time it moves, it alternates from a light square to a dark square, or vice versa. The bishop must always stay on the same color it was at the start of the game. The pawn is the least powerful piece. A pawn moves forward one square unless it is that pawn's first move. If it is that pawn's first move, then it can move one or two squares. Now that you know what chess is, let's talk about how to set up a chess game and the different rules there are in chess. The pieces of each player are placed in two horizontal rows closest to them. The second rank or second row from the player's point of view is made up of a line of 8 pawns, each placed on a single square. The closer rank is nearly symmetrical, with rooks on the two leftmost and rightmost corner squares, knights on the inside space next to them, and bishops on the outside space. The king and queen occupy the rank's two central squares. The queen occupies the square that matches her color, while the king occupies the remaining square of the opposite color. This means that the king and queen of each color face each other, resulting in a symmetrical setup between the two players. Now, you all will be thinking, why was chess invented and who exactly invented chess? But don't worry, I have the answers to that too. Chess evolved from Chaturanga, a war game, and was most likely invented to practice tactical skills and strategic thinking. By the 15th century, chess had become known as the royal game, and it was apparently a favorite of many kings and queens. According to legend, chess was invented by Grand Vizier Sisa bin Dahir and given as a gift to King Shirham of India. The king was so delighted that he offered him any reward he requested, provided that it sounded reasonable. The Grand Vizier requested the following: just one grain of wheat on the first square of a chessboard, then put two on the second square, four on the next, then eight, and continue doubling the number of grains on each successive square until every square on the chessboard is reached. Intuitively, King Shirham, just like almost anybody else, underestimated the number of grains and laughed at Sisa because he had asked such a small gift. When he had someone to calculate the total number of grains, it took more than a week before he came back with the solution. King Shirham undoubtedly became very pale when he got the answer. The aggregated number of grains on all squares of a chessboard would be 18 quintillion, 446 quadrillion, 744 trillion, 73 billion, 709,551,615 grains. This is the harvest of all the wheat of the world of several decades. The story contains an important lesson. People are psychologically bad at dealing with exponential growth. Exponential growth shows an early stage of inertia, during which it does not catch the eye. But suddenly, completely unexpected, it shows up like a tsunami, flooding everything and everyone. The growth of the world population shows the same kind of pattern. It took a few 100,000 years before the world had reached 1 billion people, soon after the year 1800. Only some 100 years later, in 1927, we were already 2 billion. Barely 46 years later, those 2 billion had already doubled. In July 1987, we reached the milestone of 5 billion. 12 years later, there was another billion people added. The seventh billion had been reached somewhere during the spring of 2012. Each day, we welcome 385,000 newborns, about the population of Ghent.